Hello and thank you for joining me for another video where I play Elite Dangerous in VR. As you can see, I've got a rather spectacular sight in front of me, and this is in actual fact Earth. I'm in orbit of Earth in an ASP, and the reason why I'm here is because I want to do a bit of an exploration themed video, and I want to talk about the ASP specifically because in VR this ship is absolutely incredible. I always did like the ASP. I love the noise it makes. I love the fact that you got this amazing view out of the canopy. It was never the best trimmed interior in here. It's very minimal and very functional, but the ship itself is a really good ship if you want to go flying around and just looking at stuff, which is probably why it's the ship of choice for the majority of people who take up exploration. My ASP is painted gold for some reason. We can just, if I move closer to the window, we can just see out there it's, I can't really see actually what colour it is because it's quite dark, but it is a rather ostentatious shade of gold, which I don't even know where the paint job came from. It's not my personal choice, it just appeared, so I put it on. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this particular ship is because it has such a different persona in virtual reality than when it does when you're playing on the desktop. I think again it's attributed to the fact that the canopy is so completely open, and even when you're playing it on the desktop you've got a good range of movement. You can look through the floor, you can look side to side, you can look through the ceiling and even back there a little bit. But in virtual reality, I don't know, because the immersion is much higher, you get this sensation of flying around in a glass bubble, and it's really incredible. So I'm going to get back into my chair here, which should be around here somewhere. Okay, and let's take it for a little jolly around the planet Earth. And of course the ASP makes a lovely noise as well, which is another reason why I like the ship so much. So we all know that the ASP is a good ship for exploration, manufactured by Lakon, so it takes on a lot of the same styling as their freight ships. In fact, it does feel like a freighter in here, but where am I going? I'm trying to find my escape vector. Wait a minute.
4, 3,
That'll do.
2,
Didn't know where I was going. So there we have some lights of the cities of Earth. I don't know what parts of that is. It might be Europe or something. Although I don't know exactly what's going on because it's only, well, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here where I am, and I'm pretty sure that part of the planet is currently in daylight. Pretty cool. So wait for my textures to load in. They're fairly slow at loading. I think it might be because my virtual reality settings actually are a little bit lower than what I would usually play in. So texture quality is probably degraded or loads a little slower. As you can see, I'm staring straight through the ceiling of the ship, and the canopy's bars don't even really get in the way at all, and it does help the immersion so much when you have this kind of a view. And there's the sunrise, and in virtual reality this just feels really fantastic. So going back to what I said about flying around in a glass bubble, it really does feel quite exposed. I'm not sure what's happened to the planet there. Looks like a massive natural disaster is going on. Oh dear. Continent rearrangement. I don't quite know where that is. My geography's bad. But I'm quite happily just staring through the ceiling of this ship at this at planet Earth, which is mind-blowingly beautiful, despite the rubbish texture loading response. So before I get neck strain, let's just roll the ship over here. And the other thing I do like about the ASP as well is the fact that you can see the thrusters clearly out of the side of the ship, and it really gives you a context of how big this ship is. It really does feel like you're piloting some pretty heavy machinery. So yeah, there's Australia, I think. Is that Australia? And what looks like a messed up Papua New Guinea just to the north of it. Yeah, that's completely destroyed. There it is. It's just come back. Right. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, of course, because exploration involves landing on planets ever since the Horizons version came out. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is the buggy, or not the buggy, the SRV, and just sort of show you guys what that's like in virtual reality. So I'm going to go find a suitable moon to land on, which I'm thinking Europa might be good because it's a pretty heavily pitted and scarred little moon. So let's go there. That's over here. So as well as that, of course, the ASP is a highly manoeuvrable ship in Super Cruise, which makes it good fun to fly around for exploration purposes. What I do wish, though, is that in virtual reality you could turn these panels off, stop them from coming on when you're trying to look through the window, because a lot of the time you are just spinning your head around looking at the view. It would be nice to just be able to toggle those on or off. So here I am approaching Europa. I'm going to take a little bit of a detour around Jupiter to see what the largest gas giant in our solar system looks like. And this is what I'm talking about with the ASP. And again, it's probably not easy to appreciate on the video, but the sense of scale that VR gives you means that planet is absolutely colossal, and the ASP's open canopy really brings it in. Makes me feel like I'm not in a ship, I'm just floating by it. It's really, really impressive, and especially when you put it into context with the ship itself, which you can do by, looking at the engines there. It gives the whole experience more realism. It really does make you feel like you're piloting a spaceship past the big planet, which is the point, I suppose. So Europa. Obviously one of Jupiter's moons. I think it's an icy, rocky sort of crust. I believe it's fairly pitted and scarred with all manner of impacts and stuff over its lifetime. And that's exactly what it looks like. It looks fairly wrecked, doesn't it? So it should provide some interesting terrain to have a little go with the SRV. So let's try and find somewhere good to land. I'm going to go straight down. I'm going to aim for that large canyon up ahead. And that sort of scar in the moon's surface looks enormous from here. It's going to be even bigger when I'm down there. In fact, it's probably going to be incomprehensible. And landing with the ASP is also a hell of an experience because, again, the canopy's so open you can see through the floor. It really does make this experience incredible because the planet or the moon that's coming up gets so big and it really feels so tangible. Okay, we're just going to glide down here. So we'll get already that scar has kind of become less defined, and we've got a lot of undulating ground instead. It does look quite rough down there, and again my textures aren't loading very well. I think it's a result of virtual reality. I think if I was playing it on my desktop and my settings are set to ultra, all of this stuff loads really quickly. Jupiter up there. Looks fantastic with the shadow going across it as well. And again, that still feels big. It still feels like this giant object up in the sky. It really gives you a sense of wonder of what it's like to be on another world and see the sky from another point of view. So already this is looking very, very interesting. There's lots of actually quite high peaks down here. So I could just land on this big mountain and This is quite incredible. It feels like I'm flying over the Alps in a helicopter before the snow melted. Oh, hang on, that looks cool. I've got to go down there. So, I mean, this is a hell of an experience. It really does feel like I'm... wow, it really does feel like I'm flying down into a deep, deep canyon. It's amazing. And this is what the ASP really brings to the VR bandwagon. This amazing view it has. It allows you to feel the landscape around you. I actually used to go exploring in an anaconda. I wouldn't bother anymore. And of course, as well, the ASP is very maneuverable, so we can pretty much spin it around these peaks. Wow, look at that. It's a sheer cliff face. I wonder if we can... there's probably no way to get the car up there, is there? Let's try and land maybe over here. This is a bad idea. No, there's nowhere to land there, is there? Gonna try anyway. Just back it up until I can...
Landing gear deployed.
Oh, it's not going to let me. The surface is too undulating. Oh, that's a shame. I would have liked to have gone barreling off that in a car. You could have all experienced somebody throwing up all over a microphone. No joy. Alright.
Landing gear retracted.
Wow, that's amazing. Really, really is. Let's go up here. I've got two ships coming in. Let's try and set her down up top.
Landing gear deployed.
Okay, and we've got some alignment. So let's pop her down. And the amount of dust and debris that the ship kicks up when it lands is really, really, really good. And again, in VR, it makes it so much more immersive. And because of the canopy and the ship so open, you can see it all around you. It's really, really fantastic. Okay, I did see two ships on my scanner, but they seem to have buggered off. So I'm going to go and deploy the SRV. and let's see what we can see.
Drive assist on.
So I think this is a fairly low gravity.
Low gravity warning.
There's a low gravity warning. So this is a low gravity moon. And the first thing that's notable when you're in the SRV is the scale of your ship. Now, this was always the case where with the desktop version as well. The ship looked really, really big from the SRV, but in virtual reality it's even bigger. It's really colossal. So that's probably the size of... It's a bit shorter than a 747, but it's easily as big. Don't know how I managed to compromise my chassis integrity, which seems to be at 100% still. So before I go and ruin my stomach by falling down a cliff and throwing up possibly, let's have a look at the SRV in more detail. So the cabin in here feels small as it is. It's, you know, it's a small vehicle. Well, at least this part of it is anyway. And there's a great big cargo container back there, but it only feels like it's about a meter or so across. But there's so much detail in here. There's all these nice switches. You can kind of see there is glass in the SRV actually. These handles. There's all these sort of measurements that go all the way around the exterior of it, and it's got this interesting circular design going on. I don't know what that is exactly, but it looks quite cool. There's some warning signs, and then of course there's the vehicle's chassis itself. So we've got these enormous arms in which the wheels are attached, and there's a whole bunch of those. And of course, because of the Vive is awesome, and I can get out, I can have a look down the side. Look at that. In fact, I can actually just get out and walk around, can't I? Interestingly enough, with virtual reality, my natural reaction is just to duck underneath that, which is strange, because obviously I don't need to. Like right now, I don't want to walk that way because there's a thing there, and I can't physically walk this way because there's a piece of furniture in the way, so I'm going to have to just go ahead and clip through that if I want to get a decent view. So there's my ship. It looks absolutely gigantic. Really, really does. I mean, it's a fantastic view in virtual reality. It really is. And there's Jupiter, and it feels like I'm standing on another world here. Or actually, feels more like I'm standing on the tyre, because my ground setting is set to where the chair is in there and not where the planet is. So I'm a little bit higher than the actual floor there. But this thing is really amazing. Unfortunately, I can't go back any further because I've got a wall in the way. So, but I can look underneath. There's lots of detail under there as well. It's fantastic. I suppose you'd see all that if you were in multiplayer and your friend came along in his SRV and toppled it over. Yeah, it's brilliant. Got a little. I can't see the turret on the top though. That's interesting. Although it probably hasn't deployed yet because I'm still very, very close to the ship. So I'm going to go back into my chair. So I'm going to climb through the ceiling of the car, through the roof. Right. Okay. So the driving experience is quite a bit different from that of the ship, because for the majority of cases in the ship you haven't got anything relative to your own movement, so you know, space just spins around you and you feel quite settled. But with the SRV, the ground is always there, and your mind will always make the connection between the ground being the stable element and you being, you know, the variable element, I suppose. And it has quite a strong effect on your sense of balance. So it can upset you a little bit if you start doing some crazy maneuvers. I think I'm going to end up driving into this canyon, aren't I? So there's that. I think there is that cliff that I flew down into with the ship. Let's go over there. In fact, let's dismiss the ship.
Ship dismissed.
So that I can go for a little jolly in this, and I might end up getting stuck down there somewhere. There she goes. So it's pretty cool, isn't it? I always like watching my ship disappear. Which I shouldn't do really, because it's as if somebody's stolen it. Go on. So this is a fairly interesting looking landscape, to say the least. Ugh. So when things like that happen and you very, very rapidly change direction in relation to the ground, you really feel it so much more than you do in the ship. I mean, I can quite happily pull flight assist off boost turns in the ship and not feel a damn thing, but with the car it's a completely different ball game. So I kind of, in VR, I kind of take things slow. I don't go too nuts with it. And although I've claimed before that the Vive doesn't make me nauseous at all, there has been times in the SRV that I have felt a little bit of twinge in the stomach. Oh, like right now. As soon as I flew over that little crest and the ground dropped beneath me, I was very aware that I'm quite high up. And this is, oh my god, and this is the sense that you get with this, is this incredible sense of height. So right now I feel like I'm on top of a 40-foot cliff, and every fibre of my body is saying to stay away from the edge. Of course I'm not going to. I'm going to drive down the edge, but sod it, let's go. Oh god, I'm going to break the car, aren't I? Oh, here we go. You're going to have to excuse me if I start swearing. I'm not even sure what I'm trying to achieve here, but I'm very likely to get stuck, I think. So let's go down there a bit. Oh, dearie me. Bloody hell. And I'm not even sure if you can appreciate it fully on the video, the sense of height that I'm getting here. But these are seriously high cliff tops. I'm trying to go slow here because, I mean, just this little bit here as well is... Let's just slow down a bit. There we go. Just checking my fuel level. Just using the thrusters to land soft, because I do find when I land hard, that also has an effect on my my inner ear and my sense of balance. Oh dear, I'm going to go over. Oh no, upside down. That's interesting. Just jump over that bit. Oh, flipping heck. This is actually very very tricky. Now that is high. I am really, really high up now. So there's that little cliff I flew through in my ship. I want to try and get down there, I think. So my natural instinct, well, no, if I was in the desktop version, I'd probably just be flat out throttle forward go. But because I'm in VR, my natural instinct is to be really careful. And because I'm feeling so much of it, it's I've got a really strong incentive to be really careful. It's not so much I'm worried about breaking the car, it's I'm worried about throwing up, to be quite honest. So I'm at 30 odd degrees here. So this is fairly steep, and you can see on the scanner down the bottom that I'm quite a steep climb. and that is just a giant cliff. Ever taken one of those mountain drives where you drive along a track that's right on the edge of a large drop? Well, this is exactly what it's like, except I've just driven off of it. Oh dear, oh my god. Oh wow, that's so high. That is really high. Don't look down, except I've got to, because I need to know where the ground is. Just breathe. Keep breathing. This is hard work. Let's just keep on going. I'm committed now. Oh wow, the sense of height is absolutely indescribable. I'm just using the thrusters to slow my descent a bit. And crunch, I'm down, I think. So yeah, I just drove down that, and here in VR, that looks like it's probably about 100, maybe 150 foot high. Right, so that's pretty much the SRV in VR. It can be highly disturbing if you go ahead and drive down stuff like I just did. I wouldn't recommend it, quite frankly, but oh hell, go nuts, you know. If you've got a headset, go and find a big cliff to drive down. It's fun. I'm going to recall my ship now.
Ship recalled.
Let's see if it can land down here somewhere. Oh, I'm not sure if it can actually. This ground's pretty undulating. So again, definitely a very interesting experience in VR. There she is, me mighty vessel. That gold paint job is terrible. I'm not into bling at all, so I might change it. And as it lands, see where she's going to land. Can she set down there? Ooh, landing gears going down. So the dust being kicked up is really, really cool. It's another really nice feature that they've added to this game. I don't know how it's going to land on that. But it did. Ooh, I think I drove over the landing strut there. So let's just board the ship. It says cargo door on the bottom there. Or something. Ah, and isn't that a nice sight? It's a proper alien planet site, that is. Apart from all the weird tyre tracks that are everywhere, and that's a really great thing. I love the tyre tracks that they've added. It's just you know, you can just see where you've been. So I came from, even in the ship, that looks like a very big high cliff. But yeah, that's a proper otherworldly vista. You know, some red rocks, strong shadows either side, and of course a giant planet in the sky. So let's take off, get the engines to 50% power, and we're up.
Landing gear retracted.
And the takeoff sensation as well in the ASP is really, really good, because as the ground drops away from you below it, you don't feel loss of, you know, the feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach or anything like that, but you feel the height that the ship gains very, very quickly.
Frameshift drive charging.
So we're going to basically fly straight up. 90-degree angle.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Warning, temperature critical.
Yep. So I'm just going to level back out again. Aim for pointed at Jupiter. And then, whilst my headless avatar here diligently flies the ship away from the moon, away from Europa, I'm going to go and stand by the window. And this is one of the things I really love to do in VR, is just to stand and watch as something automatic happens, like, you know, departing a moon. And standing here looking down over the surface of the planet as it drops away from me is a really interesting sensation. It feels, again, it feels like I'm in a little glass bubble flying through space. Something that I only get with the ASP, something that no other ship actually gives me. It's really, really cool. So, to wrap up then, I guess the point that I was trying to make was that this ship makes a whole lot more sense in virtual reality than it does in the normal desktop context. I actually, as I said before, used to go exploring in Anaconda, but because the ASP has got so much more of an open canopy now, and because virtual reality really gives you the immersion, this ship allows you to not only explore the galaxy but really, really experience it. Flying past Jupiter, this is what it's going to be like in the future when we can do this for real. It's just absolutely wonderful. And the rings there flying past there. I mean, despite the graphical drawbacks of the Vive and the screen door, you can still really appreciate the beauty of the game. So that's about it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you liked it. My apologies if you didn't like it, and I shall see you next time.